Hi guys, today I want to share with you how I've been using All Things Fun and Fascinating from IEW, the theme books. I would like to just share with you how I've been using this book, what I've noticed, and as well some things that I've been adding to be able to work with the program. I will see you after the intro. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Emma and here I like to talk anything that has to do with homeschool, sprinkle a little bit of motherhood and lifestyle here and there. Today I want to share with you how I've been using All Things Fun and Fascinating. I share already a video on my Instagram, and while I already share some of or part of this information on my Instagram, I have to share with you something else that I've been doing with my kid that I hope will be as a benefit to you guys if you're using the theme books from IEW. I think this is very important to share with you because you might want to try this with your kid to see if it will work the same way that it's been working for us. But before that, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I invite you to do it. Click that notification bell so you don't miss every time I upload a video. As well, I would like to invite you to my Instagram page, and there is where I share everything that happens here in our homeschool. If you're looking for ideas, that's a good place to get them. So I will start just explaining to you a little bit how we've been working with All Things Fun and Fascinating. What are the differences from People and Places in our community to the All Things Fun and Fascinating book? As well, what I've been doing to be able to help my kid and make it more enjoyable, as well to help myself, because some of those differences is that the guides are not the same or as detailed as it was the People and Places in our community. So I would like to share that information with you guys. Okay, you guys, so let me start by telling you guys a little bit of a story here. We started using first language lessons for the well-trained mind, and we had no problems with that program. It was working very well for us. But I noticed that he was getting a little bit tired of the fact that it was just kind of like repeating the same thing over and over. What I like about first language lessons is that it gives you the definitions, it has poetry, it's very gentle, it's a very gentle approach. But I noticed that that he was needing like something extra to help him, and that's when I bring fixed grammar. What I get from first language lessons is the fact that it's more on the auditory side, while fixed grammar is more them practicing, actually, because they have to label a story, they have to look for the parts of the speech, the errors, the grammatical errors in the story, and it's just give them that practice, correct? So I decided to try the writing program because we were using already fixed grammar and it was working very well for us. We started using People and Places in our community. This is a book that is for younger kids, and I decided to use it with my son. At that time, I think he was fourth grade. And it was really good, especially because since we were starting with the program, and IEW is not your typical writing program. So I decided to just start with something that I thought was going to be easy. And when I say I thought, is because even though it's towards younger kids, I have to say that it's not as easy as it looks. And once you start with the teacher training, if you haven't purchased the teacher training, I do recommend you that at some point. I know it can be pricey, but I can tell you that it's worth it. And I decided to go with the teacher training, and I start taking those classes myself. And I think that it's very important because it helps you relate to your kid. It helps you understand a little bit their frustrations because they're starting with something that is new. IEW is not your typical writing program. It's very structured. So going through the teacher training, it helps you to relate to them. It helps you understand the program as well and be able to have a little bit more of a compassionate attitude when it comes to writing, a little bit more of patience to your kid when it comes to writing. So it's very important. I do recommend to get the teacher training. I will leave those links in the description box for you guys. If you guys are interested, if you guys want to check it out, you can just look and click on those links, okay? but I decided to continue. So we start with people and places in our community. And right now we are using All Things Fun and Fascinating, which is the book that I want to talk to you guys right now. I did create a live on Instagram where I was talking about all things fun and fascinating, and some of the things that I am going to explain here, I explained in that live. If you go through my Instagram, you can see that. But as well, I would like to explain something that I've been doing lately as well with my kid that I think is very important, and I would like to share that with you, because if you can put that in practice in your homeschool, it might help your kid. It might not. I am just sharing this with you guys as a way to let you guys know that it's been working for us. If you think this is going to be helpful in your homeschool, well, you can get this and try to add it to your homeschool to see if it's going to help your kid as well. Okay? I am not saying that it's going to work with your kid. I am just saying that it might work and you might want to try it as well. Okay? So we've been using All Things Fun and Fascinating. The first thing I noticed is that when I use the teacher guide, it's not as detailed, or I don't consider it as detailed as the one with people and places in our community. And I would just like to show you the one for All Things Fun and Fascinating. I just have it here in this binder, this hybrid binder. So I would like just to show you guys an example here. And let me just open. First, it has a schedule. So if you're doing this with a class, with a big class, and it has a scheduling for the years. It has some instructions in here that are very helpful. You want to check that out. Sorry about the glare. But it says day 1, outline together, tell back info from outline. Day 2, tell back info from outline again, brainstorm elements of a style, begin the rough draft. Day 3, review day 2, finish rough draft, have mom or teacher proofread. Days 4, write a final draft, make corrections, and add a picture. And it has other instructions in here that are helpful that you might want to check that out. But when you go to the first lesson, you're noticing that it's giving you what you are going to expect from your kid, from his keyword outline, and it's giving you some instructions about the lesson as well. When you go to the back, it's just letting you know that you will see other stories as well within this lesson. And that's something that took me by surprise, because usually when you go to people and places in our community, you can see everything on your teacher guide pretty much. You have some tips and ideas that you can see in your teacher guide. And you can see kind of like what they're going to be working with when they're doing people and places in our community that I was not getting with the All Things Fun and Fascinating. And this is when the teacher training comes in very helpful. So I suggest you again that if you're doing All Things Fun and Fascinating, you might think it's not helpful, but I think it is. Having the teacher training, it just helps you understand a little bit better and take a little bit easy when it comes to your child. But I noticed that it has other stories that they don't have the actual keyword outlining here for you to refer to what you are going to be expecting from your kid. So let me just show you here from his book, from the All Things and Fascinating. So you have in here that is giving as well some instructions. As well, you have in here the first lesson, and it's walking you a little bit through the lesson. So it says go 1 to practice keyword outline. Keyword outline will help you gather information to write about and will help you organize information in your compositions. Before you begin to write, you should practice keyword outline, and it's giving them the assignment. So it has a step 1, step 2, a step 3, and then it has a little bit of a teacher note down here stating you can have some fun helping students learn some common abbreviations and symbols. If one at a time, you write the symbols from page 10 on the whiteboard and see if the student can guess what they mean, okay? And that is when it comes helpful, and I will be explaining to you in a second. But right now, what I was saying is they are going through the story. This is the keyword outline. They have in here some symbols and abbreviations for them to learn, just right in here. And then when you pass that page, you have another story. That if you're going to the teacher guide for all things fun and fascinating. You don't have that keyword outline for you to refer if you are doing the material with your kid. And it's just giving you these other stories more as if you want to have the kid doing these stories. For what I understood, if you're doing the poetry program, they just let you know that you might want to play a little bit with these stories to see if it's going to be working well with the poetry, so to speak. And it just took me by surprise because I was expecting to have that keyword outline for me to refer to. Not a problem. We've been working very well with the program still. And the fact that I had the teacher training was very helpful. And I liked it as well that it has extra stories, even though it took me by surprise, because he had more chance to practice as well. What I did with my kid that is different from what I did previously is the fact that I had him study those abbreviations and symbols. Why I did that? Because at the beginning he's not too much in the love of writing, so I was trying to look for something that it was gonna help him just fall in love with writing, or at least be able to do the writing without having so much procrastination. And I was just want to help him. I was trying to sympathize with him. I know that it's difficult. I know that it's a very structured program. So I was trying to look for something that I was going to help him as well. Okay. So I decided to have him for the first week, since we usually have a soft week, kind of, so to speak, when we start, is that I just had him that entire week learning the symbols and abbreviations. And why I did that? Because having and learning those symbols and abbreviations are going to help your kid to just minimize what they have to be writing, because they can create those symbols and abbreviations. As well, it helps them because they are just being able to put more words that will help them remember the retelling of the story. When they're about to retell the story, it's helpful for them to remember if they see more in there, for them to just remember the story, being able to remember what the story was about and being able to tell them in their own words. Okay, so that's what I did with my kid. The results were amazing because first he was able to learn those symbols and abbreviations, as well because I noticed that he's starting to enjoy writing. He actually is telling me not to help him, which is sometimes sad, and it's just sometimes I can't help it and I'm trying to go and try to help him, but he is like, and I am agreeing with Mr. Padua, it's like he is being stating that sometimes when the kid already knows and they are feeling confident in what they're doing, they don't want for the parent to help them, okay? And you have to accept that whether you like it or not, okay? So he is been learning those symbols and abbreviation, and I noticed that he doesn't even want me to help him anymore when it comes to the keyword outline, because he already is feeling more confident. I noticed that he's enjoying doing his writing, and I think the fact that I start with the symbols and abbreviation is helping with that, because now he's noticing that he's writing less, and still he's being able to complete very well his assignment for the day in the program. Okay, he's been working very well with the program. And if you notice in here, he's been able to even create his own symbols. And let me tell you, he does remember. He remember what those symbols mean, even though he's creating some extra symbols that are not coming from the program. And he's been able to learn those symbols. What I did, like I said, is that I just have him that entire week practicing those abbreviations and symbol. I test him, and I would like to show you guys that. And sorry that I am giving you the back, but in here you can see that at the beginning he was already, and this was just 4 days after we start, you can see that he already knew some of them. And then in here he still has some that he couldn't actually remember. If you ask me right now, I know that he knows all of them. I have been asking him. What I've been doing is that after we study them for that entire week, I continue having just one day for him to review those abbreviations and symbols. Usually it's on Fridays, where we take the time and we just go straight to just review those abbreviations and symbols. We can do it any other time of the day. Sorry, it's not Fridays, it's Thursdays. We can do it every other day, very sporadically, that we go through the symbols. But on Thursdays is when I take the time for that day to do the abbreviations and symbols. Something else that I've been doing is to expand on the symbols and abbreviations that he can use, is that I add one each week, and he studied that one for that week with the ones that he already knows. So he's learning more, but it's not overwhelming because I am going little by little at his own pace, just adding one at a time to the ones that he already knows. And he's been learning well that way. I am not stretching the time with writing. We take 20 minutes for writing. And with those 20 minutes is that we've been working, okay? So what I do is for the first day, which is Monday, and I have my planner here, is that I do the keyword and retelling. For the second day, we're doing the dictation and retelling. For the third day, we're doing obviously the fixes and the typing. And then for the fourth day is that we are doing obviously the abbreviations and symbols, and we dedicate just for the abbreviations and symbols. I add one at a time every week, and it's been working well that way. He's been adding even his own symbols, and I can just show you that with some of the story that he's been creating already. So if you notice, he add a symbol in here just for him to remember, and he's been able to retell me the story perfectly. He remembers very well by doing it in the way that I've been doing it with him for these past weeks. As well in here, this is one of the symbols that come from the IEW, the one in here. Then we have here, this is the recent one that he did, and he created an astronaut there as a symbol. I don't know if you guys can appreciate that, but it's been working excellent in this way. I think the fact that he's been able to learn those symbols and abbreviations are being key to be able to work with the program well. Obviously, I still go and review my teacher training because that is helping me as well to prepare myself for when it comes to difficult parts of the program. And that's when the story gets a little bit more lengthy, as well when they have to do a little bit more with what they have to be writing. And it's important that they are learning those abbreviations and symbols. It's actually very helpful for them. So I've been adding one every week, and he's been reviewing them with the ones that he already has learned. He's been creating his own symbols as well, and he's been able to remember and actually retell me the story from that. When it comes to fixing and dictating, he dictates the story to me, I write it, and I go through the fixes. We add vocabularies. I don't have a specific vocabulary program. I don't have a separate program. We are using the words for vocabulary from the writing program and the fixed grammar program. And we have in here in the teacher guide, and I noticed that lately, and if I go here at the end, is that it has some vocabulary words that actually go with the lesson. With each lesson, they give you some vocabulary words for the kids right here, and you can see it's telling you the lessons as well. And I create some cards for him where he can just go and just review those words constantly. As well, I ask him to add some of those words to his story to see how he can accommodate that word in his story and being able to use that vocabulary word properly. So that is how I've been using these words that are at the end, almost at the end of the teacher guide. And it's been very helpful as well. So I create those cards and we are constantly reviewing those words. As well, we are reviewing the words that come with the previous program, which is people and places in our community. We've been using those words as well as vocabulary and the ones that we are learning with fixed grammar. If you want to see and have an idea of how I do that, you can check my Instagram. I put pictures there already of those cards, those words that they were coming with the people and places in our community program, and how we've been using them as well. But it's working very well with my kid. I stay with the 20 minutes frame for our program. It's been working very well. We do everything step by step, and I noticed that he's been enjoying so much writing. I put him, after he dictates to me, and we go through doing the fixes for the writing, for his writing, his draft. I have him typing whatever the story, whatever he dictates to me. I have him type that on the computer, and he is been practicing typing as well without even noticing. Hint there. And if you want your kid to practice typing and your kid is not that much into typing, that's a way to do it. And it's creating as well that they have to write less with the writing program, but at the same time they are taking the benefits of the writing because you're going with them through the fixes, so you have to look at that as well. So what I do is that immediately he finishes with typing, I go through his typing and look at what he's doing. Obviously we have to look at that as well and correct things if we have to correct, but it's been working very well like that because he already is writing. He's doing a history narration when it comes to history, and I will be talking more about how I am doing history because it's a little bit different probably from what you have seen around here, but he is been writing with his history, so I decide to just have him type on the computer from his draft and just practice as well his typing because this is the first time that he's doing that, and I just want to take it easy with him and go at a slow pace with him. I am in no rush. I am not trying to just get him frustrated, and sometimes kids don't want to do writing because us moms, we want them to just being able to work with the program with the writing. We want them to learn how to write, and that will come eventually. You have to take a little bit of slow, having a little bit of patience, and I can tell you that they will learn and they will enjoy writing if you are going at their own pace, going little by little, taking the time. Do not stretch that time. I can assure you that your kid can be working very well in that frame of 20 minutes, 30 the most, especially when it comes to writing. I noticed that it's been working very well with him. I noticed that obviously the teacher guide for all things fun and fascinating, I consider it's not as detailed for the instructions when it comes to compared to the people and places in our community, but I did notice that in his book there are some instructions for the teacher as well, so that might be the reason why you don't have that much of instructions in the teacher guide. But just to let you know, you have some instructions here that your kid can see as well and could be of benefit. And that you have some instructions here. At the end, I think you have the best part because it's giving you a scope and sequence that you can use. And let me show you just that. Let me see if I can find it here. So first of all, you have a year at a glance, which could be very, very helpful. And let me just look in here. You have as well an IEW parents to-do list that you can see to see if it's helpful for you. Suggestions for parent helping your young students. as well, you have first quarter and second quarter for you to be able to just grade your kids' work. But you have a few things in here that are very helpful in the teacher guide that you would like to just take the time and look at them and be able to familiarize yourself with them. As well, you have instructions for reward tickets, and you can see them in here. You can make copies and print them, and how to create quizzes and a final vocabulary test. There's a word bank there. There's just so much information in this teacher guide that is very valuable if you're using the theme books. And I just wanted to share this with you. That's how I've been working with our All Things Fun and Fascinating from IEW. That's what I've been doing. I just been separating things step by step. IEW is a very structured program, so it's very important that you take it slow and you have a little bit of patience with your kid. Going through the teacher training is very helpful. I can tell you it's very helpful, and it's more helpful when it comes to those times, those parts where the stories are getting a little bit longer. They have a little bit more to do. The keyword outline that starts to get a little bit longer because they have more work to do. Is very helpful. And I just learning those symbols and abbreviations are very important as well, because it just helps your kid that when it comes to writing, it's a little bit less what they have to do if they have learned, if they have memorized those abbreviations and symbols. Is helpful when it comes to writing, when it comes to do the keyword outline as well. Adding those vocabulary words here and there, being able to practice those vocabulary words, that's something that I do with my kid as well. Every day that we do writing, we go through the vocabulary words, and or at least 2 days a week I like to go through those vocabulary words. Sometimes I do a little bit more, but if you notice here, I'm sorry that I am giving you guys the back, but if you notice in here, I have it so far for Mondays we do vocabulary, and Wednesdays, and these words are coming just from Fix It Grammar and the writing programs. We don't have a separate program for vocabulary. We are using those words that we are learning from the Fix It Grammar as well from the writing program. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope it's helpful. If it is, please don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you then. Bye bye.